Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 3-0 Take, where we talk all things Major League Baseball. Here's Kyle Corwin and Nate Reyes. It all starts right now.
Welcome back to the 3-0 Take, presented by Chinook Seedery. This is episode 542. I'll be your host, Kyle Corwin. I'm here with my co-host, Nate Reyes. Nate.
KC, how are we?
I'll be honest with you. My MVP 2005 dynasty is not off to a banner start. Dusted off the old OG Xbox. Said let's run it with a dynasty.
I am going to cut you off and think that there's probably not a ton of dust on that.
I mean, I break it out a few times a year. Like
I don't know if it's around long enough.
Literally, like probably during baseball season, I'll break it out, play a little MVP 05, play a little NCAA 06, and then when the fall rolls around,
you're a little depressed around like November, December range.
Well, that's when I break out college football 08.
Okay.
So I'm covering my bases. So that's a valid point. Not too much dust on this thing, but anyway. Yeah. I started Dynasty. I left it up to our fantasy league. Said, what team you want me to run it with? They said, is that still the Devil Rays on MVP 05? I said, it is. That was the team that was decided upon. I did my fantasy draft. And so right now, the team is looking pretty solid, but we're off to an 0-2 start. Okay. And in both games, the Blue Jays took, believe it or not, Bob Gibson, my ace, and Nolan Ryan, my number 2, out to the woodshed in both games. So
it's tough, man. Are you playing on a certain difficulty?
MVP, the max level.
I'm proud of you for that.
I'm gonna try to run it. I'm gonna try to run it 162. My plan was to set it at 3 innings and started the league, and they were like, we're not giving you that option at the moment. So I had to commit to 9 innings. So here we are.
I feel like there's a fine line with, I don't know at what age level that you pass where you change the difficulty of a video game just because you need a freaking break in life, and you're like,
I need a win, man. Just give me a win.
I just need to enjoy this. I don't need to throw my controller through the drywall. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where that turning point is, but I feel like there is a turning point eventually.
Yeah, when the responsibility, the real life adult responsibility starts stacking up. It's like those videos after a team loses a World Series and you'll see the guy where he's like, and it pans to the TV. It's like
to nothing in the third inning.
That's the kind of wins you need. I guess once you cross over into your late 20s or something. I don't know, but
that's why I think I had to stop. Not that I was super into it. It was mainly a COVID thing, but Call of Duty online. You're just like, I just work 11 hours. I don't need to get absolutely wrecked by an 11-year-old in Call of Duty. I need to enjoy something. I just need some peace.
Well, to your point, that difficulty change might be coming very soon because if I can't win with Bob Gibson,
who else is in that rotation?
Rocking the 1998 Devil Rays throwback uni, I might add, or Nolan Ryan wearing the alternate force green.
What else is that rotation looking like?
It's not great after that. It's like I think Tim Wakefield's like my number 3. It's a little bit of a steep fall off. I went heavy on the aces right out of the gate.
So it was like a draft.
My draft.
Like fantasy draft.
Full fantasy draft. Got Yogi behind the dish.
Did you make yourself the first pick?
I did.
Yeah, you have to.
I was like, I'm in for a rude awakening here, so I at least need to take the first pick.
Yeah.
Willie Mo Pena is my left fielder. Dude, the names on this roster. Let me just run you around the diamond real quick. I got
hit me.
Bob Gibson, my number one. Yogi behind the dish. I got Chipper at third. What's his name? Was it Jimmy Rollins? No, was he in that game? That would have been his. Yeah, Jimmy. I think Jimmy Rollins was my
early
shortstop. Yeah, that's the thing is some of these guys, like you think like, oh, Chipper Jones, like you got to keep in mind like where this is at in his career. I think Jimmy Rollins is at short. I got Pokey Reese at second. I think David Ortiz. No, he's my DH. I don't remember who I have at first. Left, Willie Mo Pena, Griffey in center. Orlando Cepeda is somewhere. Maybe I guess he's my first baseman. It's a pretty solid squad.
Doesn't sound like an 0-2 team.
No, it's not.
Drop that down to Hall of Fame or whatever's below. MVP. Veteran
Probably. We'll figure it out. I'll keep you guys updated. But let's talk current events baseball here. Let's talk about the here and now, not 2005. This MVP conversation has piqued my interest, and I know it's piqued yours because your guy is one of the two names leading the charge in this AL MVP race in Aaron Judge. But his counter in the race is a catcher out in Seattle by the name of Cal Raleigh. Nate, before we get into specifics here, gut reaction, I would say take off your bias hat, but that would be silly. I know that this is going to play into it. Gut reaction when you hear somebody say Cal Raleigh has a case for the AL MVP, what is your response?
It's an understandable case. I think I believe we've talked about this a lot in the past. You and I, at least I do, I don't know how you feel, are in the camp that like the value to the team holds a little bit more weight in my voting, right? It's not entirely in that, but I think of like the value that that specific player brings to that specific team. I think that makes up a solid chunk of it. I think that's, I'm not going to say half. I'm going to say 33% of my decision on the vote is the just sheer value of like, if you take this guy out of the lineup, what does that do? Right? How successful is that team without him? So that's where I think I understand the argument for Cal Raleigh. Just because obviously it's not a super deep lineup in Seattle.
Yeah, he's absolutely that offense.
He is like, that offense.
Without question.
He is obviously having his best season of his career. A lot of power showing up. And as a catcher, I don't think that that's stressed enough how difficult that is. Like,
can I jump in? Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
Talk about those numbers. You're talking about career year. And again, we're at the beginning of June, so I understand that, you know, in order for this to hold true, he's got to pace this to even a slightly lesser degree for this conversation to be relevant. But as it stands right now, coming into today, Wednesday, his 259 average is 36 points higher than his career average. His OBP is 68 points higher. Slugging is almost 200 points higher. OPS 220, give or take, points higher, and his OPS plus is his 189 OPS plus right now is significantly higher than his career OPS plus mark of 121. So to your point, I mean, and we kind of knew this already, but when you look at the simple counting numbers, you're like, yeah, he certainly does have a case.
And I do think that this, if the season stops now, he's in the top three. I think we really got to stress, like, as a catcher, it's just I don't know if that's truly understood. Like, I don't know if we just like take numbers for granted at times. I don't know if we remember, and it's not like it's your hands, bro. Like, your hands are getting beat up over and over and over all the time. No days off. Like, I don't think people understand what it's like to catch 95 plus 150 times in a game and to still be able to hold a baseball bat and have some pop in that swing. Like, that's different. That's very hard to do. There's a reason why offensive catchers are a dime a dozen. There's a reason why they stand out so much in the history of our game. There's a reason why majority around the league, it's like that's why they platoon guys. That's why you have a two-headed monster behind the dish to allow those guys to have days off. It's not like knees. It's not like getting foul balls hit off of your, off of your groin or off of your neck, or like just missing pads. It's like, it's a combination of that. It's the mental capacity of having to handle an entire staff. It's staying tapped in every single pitch. And then it's also the physical, attributes of like, I got to keep my hands feeling good for hitting. That's a very hard thing to do. I think catching is one of the hardest positions in sports. I think it's definitely the hardest position in baseball. However, and this isn't bias.
You're going full judge mode here. Can I just get one last note
I'm not going to go full
Raleigh?
Judge mode. All I know is that, like, I just want you just read off how much of a tick up his stats are from his career average. When we get into Judge, I want you to read off the difference in those categories between the two guys.
I don't think nobody with a brain is disputing what Aaron Judge is doing this year. And I'll just go, spoiler alert, I still believe Aaron Judge to be the leader in the clubhouse when it comes to MVP votes. I understand that.
Yeah.
But again, we have this conversation every year. And granted, for the longest time, it was a conversation about Judge and Ohtani. When we're talking about what does the V represent in MVP?
Yeah.
Like, is it a player that actually serves as a value to his team?
Yeah.
Or is it just the guy that has the most home runs at the end of the year? Because I feel like there for a stretch, that seemed to be what it was. I mean, sure, it may be a little more nuanced to
I think there's
in
a lot
some
of
cases.
years that has the story to it.
Yeah, and maybe it wasn't the only thing that they were leading in, but it was the one that was most often talked about. However, this is a different situation. We're not talking Judge and Ohtani coming out of the American League. We're talking about Aaron Judge and a catcher. Now, if you want to take the traditional route and dial it back to maybe what they used to think MVP represented, and it was about a guy who actually provided value to a team. Yeah. Cal Raleigh does that, and I'm not saying Aaron Judge doesn't, but as a catcher, you've already touched on it, but you have to do so much. It's a challenging position, arguably the most challenging on a baseball diamond. But it's not just that Cal Raleigh is doing all of these things. It's not that he's hitting for power. It's not that he's leading, he's managing a pitching staff. It's not that he's a good defender. He's doing all of these things at an exceptional rate.
Sure.
Like, he is
it's
a platinum
below average catcher.
He is a platinum glove defender behind the dish. We already know what he's doing offensively with the home runs, the power, the OPS plus, all of that. We know it, and he's doing all of this as a catcher, and at the very least, given Aaron Judge a run for his money. Now, how strong of a run you want to look at, or you want to label that as, that's up to you. But I think it's interesting that as of June 4th, we're looking at Cal Raleigh as the threat to Aaron Judge.
It's big numbers. It's also got 6 swipes, by the way.
With that said, I read.
Like I said, I mean, it's tough when if Judge was hitting 280, then yeah, I think this is a very different conversation.
I'm with you.
It's June 4th, and he's hitting 390.
It's also June 4th, and Cal Raleigh is pacing for he's on pace for 63 home runs or something like that. Which I as we speak, I'm looking at a notification right now from our Facebook group, which by the way, I feel like I've never plugged that on here, maybe once.
Plug the heck out of it.
Check out our Facebook group. I'm not talking about the page itself, like the 3-0 Take, but we have a Facebook group called Today in Baseball. It's a bunch of baseball fans in there sharing posts that they come across, sharing interesting facts, experiences, stories, pictures from the games they go to. I'm looking at one right now where somebody is requesting that we not have MVP conversations in June. And look, I'm with you. I understand it's early. But you have to think with the offensive prowess that Cal Raleigh brings to the table, there's a very good chance we're going to be looking at an August conversation where Cal Raleigh is still going to be in the top 3 of the conversation. Maybe Bobby Witt finds a little bit of a resurgence. Maybe he, maybe jumps Cal Raleigh because he.
I think Jose Ramirez is probably the next one that we need to discuss.
I was looking at the betting or the betting odds today, and I think they actually had Bobby Witt. Some vendor or some outlets had Bobby Witt second, even above Cal Raleigh right now, and I'm like, that's a little strong, but
not this year, not so far.
But anyway, I think it could be August, and it's a very realistic possibility that Cal Raleigh is still in the conversation, top 3 for MVP race. That's all I'm saying. But to your point, getting to the Aaron Judge's numbers, coming into today, Wednesday, he's hitting 387, 21 homers, which is coming into today 2 behind Cal Raleigh's 23. He's got 50 RBIs, on base of 485, a slug of 757. His OPS is 1242. And his OPS plus is 248. It's June 4th. He's already accumulated 4.7 WAR.
I don't even think it's not a conversation of bias in any way. I don't even need to be biased. I think if it's just player A versus player B, and if we strictly look at numbers, that's a conversation. And again, that's not my full conversation. That's not the whole part of it. I do think that there's a chunk of the conversation that has to go towards the value of the team. And being a catcher, being an above average catcher, playing so often, that's a big deal. That has a lot of value. So I don't want to discredit it. I don't think there's any need to tear down Cal Raleigh in order to make the argument for Aaron Judge, and vice versa. I think it's just it's June 4th and he's hitting 390. That's something that he's found a new gear that we're not used to seeing. It's fine seeing a power hitter who has a ton of strikeouts who hits 280, 290, and you're like, that's a good MVP year. Wow, almost 300. And then there's this.
It is interesting, though. Yeah, I've heard you say multiple times already, it's June 4th. It's so interesting as we're having this conversation that in one breath you can say it's so early. It's only June 4th. How are we having an MVP conversation already? But in
some of these numbers, it's like it's June 4th.
In the same breath, you're like, Aaron Judge is hitting 387 on June 4th. Like, somehow it seems early, but it's also late for some facets of this conversation. It's very interesting. But I will say, and we don't have to, belabor this conversation too much, because again, it is early for the MVP conversation itself. I just wanted to touch on it. But I will say, I don't feel like I owe him an apology, but I will say that with the way that this year has gone, building off of the historic year he had last year and even seasons prior, I feel like I do need to revisit the best player in Major League Baseball conversation a little bit. Like, I still think it's Shohei. Once he comes back as a pitcher and is putting up respectable numbers, assuming that's the case, I feel like that has to be the answer. But as it stands right now, I mean, if you're just talking hitting, like, we're seeing things from Aaron Judge right now that I don't think we've seen since like Barry Bonds.
Yeah. You're talking a near, what was it? His on base was 480?
485.
People, he's getting on base 48.5% of the time.
We'll just call it a clean 50. Let's just call it half the time. He's getting on base half the time.
That's a big deal.
Like, I don't care about with a number like that. I don't care about advanced analytics. I'm sorry. I don't care how you're getting on base. If you're hitting, like, if you are getting on base half the time, you are providing value to your team. End of conversation.
And I think that's going to continue to be something that holds that average up. I think that average, I'm not going to say he's going to hit 380 plus for the season, but I think you can, I don't think it's crazy to say that he's going to hit over 300, potentially 320 this year. Like, I don't think that's absurd to just say, yeah, I could see that happening, because the walks aren't going anywhere. He's clearly walking. And until there is like a legitimate threat behind him in the lineup, teams are going to continue to work around him. So I don't think the walks are going anywhere.
That's a valid point. The last thing, though, I was just curious before we move on. I wanted to see what his splits were. And you may even have an idea.
Home road?
No. Months. That's one of my like things I like nerding out about. Like, some people have certain like stats that they like. Yeah, but that's one of the things for some reason that really intrigues me is how a guy's season trajectory plays out over, a month by month basis. And I'm trying to pull up what his career splits are for the month. So average, he drops over the course of his career, he drops from a 330 hitter in May to a 290 hitter in June.
Okay.
And then July drops to 289, so just a point. August 279, September, October 275. So history would tell you it's going to only go down from here.
Yeah.
And
he's been slumping a little bit.
But to your point, if he's going to be pitched around, that might, buy him some ABs, if you will. Maybe props up that average a little more than he would if he had somebody behind him. But
yeah.
Anyway, putting a bow on the whole AL MVP thing. Again, I know it's June, but it's at the very least, it's worth giving props to Cal Raleigh for having we know what Aaron Judge is doing, but if nothing else, if you take nothing else away from this conversation, the fact that Cal Raleigh is doing this as, again, not like a slightly below league average catcher. He is doing this at an elite level.
Yeah, my last thing, and then we can move on. That specifically, and I think it's just important to like remind yourself that like don't take this Aaron Judge offensive season for granted and just like throw an umbrella of like, oh, he's doing great. Like, let's not look like pay attention to what the numbers are saying, because it's not normal. You don't see this every year, much less consecutive years, much less someone in their 30s. So something that I like consider. But my last question, and then we can move on. I'm not saying team success is like a huge important factor, but like if the Mariners slide and maybe miss the playoffs, like does that sway your vote personally on an MVP? And I don't think team success is a big part. If we're talking like percentages of what makes up an MVP vote, I'm putting like maybe 10%.
Sure. Here's my
of
take
that on a team success thing.
Here's my take. I think we're at a point in the game now, and maybe this is just me. Maybe I'm on an island here, but I think team success in the year 2025, or really we'll just call it like the 2020s. We're at a point in the game now where I feel like team success it's not going to serve as a detractor. Mm-hmm. It's only going to add to a narrative if the team is doing well. Like in Cal Raleigh's situation, he's going to get a little bit of a bias bump at the end of the season if the Mariners somehow figure out a way to run away with this division. Yeah. They're going to go, look at what Cal Raleigh did. He literally put the entire team on his back, on his rear, big dumper, and led him to a division crown. But if they finish in third place, I don't think anybody's going to point to Cal Raleigh and be like, well, if he'd performed a little better, maybe they would have finished second or even won the division.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because like we said, he is the Mariners right now.
Right. And I know that we don't need to pull at this thread. I know the AL East is
last thing, and then we'll move on.
As the AL West, and then like I don't need to go down that road. I don't think it's fair to go like apples to apples between the Yankees and the Mariners. It's just different. But it is something that I think I put a little value into team success, and I think it does lose its luster a little bit. But we saw Shohei, win in an Angels uniform and not make it to the playoffs.
And we saw Trout do the same thing.
Yeah. I don't think it's a huge part of the equation.
Last thing, and then we'll move on. No, I'm done. We're talking Jac Caglianone now. Called up this week, made his debut. My days are getting mixed up. Was that last night? Debut last night, I believe. Tuesday.
Sure.
Yeah, because they were off Monday. Yeah. So Tuesday. 0 for 5. But did you see the numbers behind? Did you see some of the numbers behind his ABs last night?
Mm-mm.
He had so 4 out of the 5 balls that he hit were 96 plus on exit velo.
Expecting batting average is huge then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think his final AB was 113.1 miles an hour.
Oh, I did see
in his debut.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He achieved the 4th highest exit velo of all Royals hitters this season in one game.
This is why this needed to happen.
This is why everybody was calling for this to happen. And granted, I say that with like a little bit of frustration because it was like, what are we doing? But I look at the Royals and I'm like, okay, well, at least you pulled the trigger. I'm sitting here thinking about my Red Sox and wondering why Roman Anthony is annihilating the AAA level and is still in AAA. So, I can only get so frustrated with the Royals for quote unquote, like mishandling this. It sounds like, maybe they went a little longer than they would have liked. But good on them for actually pulling up a guy that's going to help the team and help specifically the offense that, as we've talked about, is one of the worst in baseball.
Yeah. I did see, I think I saw, was it his first at bat that he had that fly out to right center that was like deep?
Yeah.
Up against the wall.
Yeah. Yeah. Like shade to the right center.
Yeah.
Victor Scott snagged it, robbed him of extra bases. That was a good swing. And that was the other thing that impressed me in watching his ABs is, and this, I feel like this was sort of the description or the scouting report, if you will, of him in the minors and really just throughout his like amateur career, I guess you could say, is he just seemed like calm. His demeanor is so calm, a slow heartbeat. He didn't look overpowered in his ABs in his debut. Like his hands were still quick. He was still getting the balls. And as I just said, he was hitting them hard, like hard contact. But that's got to be so encouraging for the Royals to know that like this guy is not going to shy away from the spotlight that the major league level brings. So good for him, man. I'm hoping he can. I don't even. They're playing at night, I believe. So I don't even know what he's.
Got postponed.
Oh, did it get postponed? Well, hopefully he can notch his first hit soon. But I'm thinking one of his first hits just like it's got to be a tank, right? I mean, that's just.
I mean, it takes gangster hacks, dude.
I mean, there's only. I feel like there's only so many guys when you get called up that you can say that about. He's one of them.
Yeah. Oh, those are daddy hacks. It looks very, very good. He looks like a star. Like he's got the makeup of a star. The demeanor of a star, like you were saying. I like a good number. I don't know what it is about debuts, but I like a good number on the jersey, and 14 is a good number. It's not a great number, but it is a good number.
That's a football number, but I'll take it in baseball.
It's better than like anything 30 and above. You know what I mean? I'm kind of out on.
Marcelo Meyer's wearing 39, which I'm like, bro, that's come on.
Awful. And we know the story of the Yankees. So like anytime I see a young guy come up, I'm like, oh, number 89. So 14 solid. I like 14. Bro just looks good in a uniform. I'm not gonna lie. He's a good looking cat. He's got all the makeup, man. I don't know. That's
a handsome fella.
I haven't seen enough of like his like interviews or like anything like that. I'm curious if he's like, I think Bobby Witt's quiet, but at the same time, like he's got drip.
Well, let's not go slandering Bobby Witt.
I'm saying like Bobby Witt's like quiet, but like has drip.
I thought you were talking about Jack. I got Bobby for sure. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know what Jac Caglianone. I don't know what that's like. I don't know if he's a little louder. I don't know if he's a little more confident. I don't know if he's got like no drip and just like all confident. Like
he seems like a classic. Who's was that Teddy Roosevelt? Teddy Roosevelt, speak softly and carry a big stick. That seems like kind of where Jac Caglianone
That's
falls
what I'm wondering. Yeah.
Like I would venture to say the confidence is
pretty high.
This is just from what I've like the very limited things I've seen on Jack so far, but I would venture to say that the confidence is more apparent with Jack versus Bobby. Like it would take you a while to really get to the heart of Bobby's confidence in a conversation with him. Like it would take him a while to really open up. Like, yeah, I know I'm like literally one of the greatest players in the game. He wouldn't say that. And I'm not saying Jack would either, but I feel like if both of them were to walk into a room, I feel like Jack is going to maybe steal the show a little bit more from like an aura perspective.
It's a presence. That's a big boy.
That is a big boy.
I don't know if this has been discussed at any point recently. So pitching's just dead. That's just like officially pitching is just like out of the Royals.
What
equation.
context here are we talking? Just a general statement, pitching's dead, or
for Jack? Like it's just like the option of him getting on the bump again.
Sorry, I was not tracking with you there. You're saying specifically for Jack.
Those days are just done. It's kind of sad.
It is sad. Like it definitely gave us some fun headlines, but Maybe the Royals just look at this like, nah. And I'm not saying he's Shohei, but it might be there might be a similar, albeit more premature conversation going on here as is happening in LA with the Dodgers and Shohei being like, hey, look, we could do this.
Yeah.
But do we need to? Should we? Do we need to push the envelope here? Or can we just be happy with the offense that we know we're gonna get from this guy? And again, I know he literally Jack just made his debut. I understand that, but if everything pans out the way that it's supposed to, he's going to be an offensive threat in this league for some time to come. And maybe they just don't want to mess with that. It's hard to say.
It's understandable. I don't hate on it. It would have been nice to see, you know.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Let's you want to talk about some dudes that have been
dudes
that been deserving of some credit?
What's that sound?
Let's talk credit cannon. Junior Caminero's hitting .395. That's 17 hits, including 6 homers, 18 ribbies, and an OPS of 1412. And just as a cherry on top, 13 runs scored in his last 11 games. Again, that's a .395 average over his last 11 games coming into Wednesday. And fun little nugget here that I came across in my digging around, courtesy of Foul Territory TV on Twitter. Junior Caminero is batting .625 off of relief pitchers over the last 14 days, which is the best in the American League. Which makes me wonder, like, if that's just the American League, like who's higher than that in the National League?
That's a good point. It's a good question.
Is that like a Shohei situation? Or are we talking like a Luis Arias situation? Like, am I overthinking this or what?
No, it's a valid question. I don't know.
Either way.
Stud.
Good for this young man. He's only 21, dude.
Yeah. Talk about confidence, by the way.
14 jacks on the year coming into today. Love that.
Good ballpark to hit in so far.
OPS 811, OPS plus a 128.
Yeah. We knew the pop is there. It's just swing and miss stuff, some discipline. Kid's good, though. Kid's real good.
Speaking of good, Max Muncy's hitting .324. That's 12 hits, including 6 homers, 17 ribbies, and a 1248 OPS over the last 15 days. Shout out Jacob in the chat. What's up, Jacob? Welcome. By the way, shout out to all of you hanging out in the chat with us tonight on this
love the chat
Wednesday night live stream. Max Muncy.
When did this start? Was this the Mets series? When it started taking off? Guardians? Because I know he did his thing against the Yanks.
Well, so here's the thing with Max Muncy, and if you've been following him at any point, you know that he's made some switches when it comes to his eyes.
Yeah.
We know he's been wearing glasses, but did he get surgery at some point? I thought it was just the glasses, but
I think it was probably both.
Well, I feel like if you got surgery, it would eliminate the need for glasses. But I feel like I just saw him wearing glasses the other day. Maybe not.
I think surgery is kind of overrated.
I've heard some success stories from the.
Heard a lot of failure stuff. So,
well,
to be fair, I've been blessed with good eyes.
Dad got the LASIK years ago and said it was one of the greatest decisions he ever made. So I can only imagine how much something like that would impact a major league hitter. But courtesy of Underdog MLB on Twitter, without glasses, he was hitting 180, 0 home runs, and had 34 strikeouts. 4 RBIs, 34 strikeouts with glasses, which, by the way, 28 without, 29 with.
Okay, perfect.
He went from hitting 180 to now hitting 275. 0 homers to 8 homers, 4 ribbies to 30 ribbies, 34 strikeouts to 18.
I mean, if there was pudding, there'd be proof in it.
It's crazy what being able to see can do for you. Not just as a major league hitter like we talked about, but just as a human being.
True. Very true.
I mean, you can do a lot of stuff if you can see.
Yeah, homie's locked. And
good on Max.
Just makes that lineup even deeper.
It's a good bump. Like, this is a good run for him too. He needs it. Like, he's hitting like that span, or the 15-day span that I told you, where he's hitting 324, 6 homers. He's a 228 career hitter. And he's had a little bit of a down year based on certain metrics that you might look at. OPS is down, on base is down, OPS plus is down. So he needed this. This is big for Max, big for the Dodgers, who, by the way, are fighting off again. It's early, I know, but they're fighting off the Pods, who are only a game back coming into today. How about it?
Interessante.
How about it? Next up, Addison Barger making his credit cannon debut. Coming into today, I think the Jays game actually just ended on a walk-off. I think it was Alejandro Kirk, actually. I don't know if he got one, but coming into today, 4 consecutive games with a homer.
He went 0 for 4 today.
I think I saw his last at bat, and he was 0 for 3 at that point. So, yeah, I guess I didn't miss anything. Courtesy of Just Baseball on Twitter, no one in the AL has a better hard hit percentage since May 1st than Addison Barger. In that time, slashing 299, 370, 567 with an OPS of 937, 6 homers, 163 weighted runs created plus, and a 1.5 F4.
Decent. I mean, Toronto 7-3 in their last 10, man.
Second place in the East.
Like, that's
only 6 back.
There's a lot of people out there that had them pretty low on the list as far as divisional finish.
They suck. If the theme of this episode is it's June, it's so early, I think we can apply that line of thinking to the Blue Jays and saying, you know what, this little run has been cute. The fact that they're only 6 back in a pretty crappy East, great, awesome. But this is, I mean, go ahead, write it, etch it in stone. Save this receipt. I know, Nate, you're big in receipts now. Go ahead and Sharpie it. This is not gonna pan out to be anything that we haven't seen for the last however many seasons. This is the Jays of old will return.
Wow.
But not if Addison Barger has anything to say about it. So good for him. And lastly here, Andrew Abbott of the Cincinnati Reds. Outside of today's little fart start where he gave up 5 against the Brewers, from May 6th to May 30th was 3-0 with an ERA of .63 and 30 strikeouts across 5 starts. His best start in that span was actually against the National League's best Chicago Cubs, where he went 7 innings, only gave up 1 hit, had 0 earned runs, and 8 Ks. And that was actually at the start before this fart start today. So that was back. That start against the Cubs was May 30th. So been looking very, very sharp for the Reds. So you love to see that, especially considering the fact that Hunter Green, which I forgot to even include that in my notes, but Hunter Green back on the shelf with a re-aggravated groin injury.
You don't like to see that.
I don't like to see that, man. Like, I was feeling really good about my Cy Young pick, but dude just can't can't stay on the bump.
You cannot.
Hard to win an award when you're not playing, you know?
It's true. It's true. It's hard to
I've been
Cannon
told.
fired for you.
So I've been told. How
you doing, guy?
The Rockies.
Whoa.
I mean, can we give? I guess we go ahead and give it to them. The Colorado Rockies.
It just snapped, man.
Wow, that I don't even know if you heard, but even not
It like cocked.
it. Yeah, it was like
didn't fire.
which actually is very fitting for if we're gonna give the credit king to the Rockies. Like give you a little false start there. Okay, I'm glad you heard that because I thought I was the only one. Rockies sweep the Miami Marlins. Their first series win of the year. It's actually their first series win dating back to September 16th through 18th of last year versus the D-backs. Look, I know we just shot the cannon for the Rockies, but this is less about the accomplishment on behalf of the Colorado Rockies and more of a what are you doing Miami Marlins? How do you let a team come in and get their 10th, 11th, and 12th wins of the season in, again, early June? If we're going to label this episode, title this episode, we're just going to call it It's June. How are you going to let a team come in June and get their 10th, 11th, 12th wins and just go on about your day? Not fire somebody, not burn the stadium down. How do you let that happen, Miami Marlins? That's pathetic.
I mean, they're also an embarrassing organization.
That's pathetic. I mean, we know this, but to get swept, I know crazier things have happened in baseball, but my goodness. They didn't even have double-digit wins. The Rockies didn't even have double-digit wins coming into your ballpark when they arrived.
Yeah,
via
crazy.
plane or train or a limo. I don't know how they arrived to the park.
Hold on, I want to do something a little fun here. Keep stalling for me.
By the way, dating back to that mark that I mentioned, September 16th through the 18th of last year, their last series win. This sweep snaps a streak of 22 straight series losses. 22. You have to be so. It goes without saying, but you have to be so bad to not even luck into winning a series in that amount of series. That's crazy. What do you got?
Based on the ESPN app, can you guess the total attendance of the 3 games?
Oh, okay. So I did see.
You already saw some?
No, I saw the first game on Friday because that was the picture. I don't know if you saw, but there was like a picture,
I saw the picture
floating around viral or whatever.
Which seemed well above what was shown in the picture. You know what I mean? Like the number was
right, yeah,
way higher than what
okay,
I saw.
so well, the picture I saw, somebody had like tweeted out. I'm guessing at this point it was sarcastically, but they were like, 157 people tonight's Marlins Rockies game. I didn't even think twice about it until I saw the actual number. I was like, that totally makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm looking at this picture right now. There's probably about little under 200 people here.
Yeah.
And then it came out reported that it was like 3,500 or something. I'm like, that's just wrong.
Yeah. Well, I'm going off the ESPN app just because it was the quickest. So
give me
a guess on the total for the 3 games.
I'm probably way off here, but I would guess that their highest total would have been Friday because people have things to do on the weekend. Like I know Friday night is the weekend,
Better
but
things
like
to do than go to
like you've got the like
Lone
Saturday,
Depot.
Sunday. Saturday you're trying to take care of home projects. Sunday you're trying to like wind down for the week. You're not trying to go watch a combined like 30 wins of baseball being played. Actually, how many wins do the Rockies got?
They're 11 and 50.
Okay, so like
34 wins.
No,
total.
12 and 50.
12 and 50, sorry. I was looking at the last
Yeah, so I was close.
35 wins between the two of them.
Yeah, so I'm guessing Friday night was actually the big ticket game.
Wrong. Saturday.
Was this? Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense with the Marlins, man. I swear. My goodness. Okay. If that Friday game was 35, I'm gonna say like. I'm gonna say like 13,000 over the weekend.
According to ESPN, it was 19,738. We had 5,894. So I don't know what the 3,500 number was. I don't know where these numbers.
I think I
official.
saw that.
I thought I did too. But the 5,894 on Friday, 7,583 on Saturday, 6,261 on Sunday.
It's quality baseball.
Am I saying the right days, by the way? Days of the week? I'm not. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't know what I'm making up. You messed me up with the weekend stuff.
Oh, you're so right. That's on me. Hey, I'll take the
Monday.
I'll take
was
the
the start of the series.
That's on me.
Well, I got confused. You threw me off.
That's
You
on
threw
me.
a wrench in there.
Yeah, that's on me.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The series just ended today. Yesterday. Today. What's today? It's Wednesday.
The
Good
sweep
night.
the sweep happened today, Wednesday.
Sweep Avenue. Yeah. So, 19,000 people. That I did see a TikTok of like this group of guys. You know those like 50-50 tickets that you can buy?
Yes.
Like, there's a guy that bought like 2,000 50-50 tickets. And I don't know if he won or not. I'm gonna have to look back. But like, what are the chances that
you gotta? But then again, like your chances are better, but the payout's gonna be garbage.
He spent like $400 in the 50-50 raffle thing. Imagine losing
crazy.
that.
No disrespect.
No disrespect.
No disrespect. Rockies suck. The Marlins suck. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
Speaking of sucking, the Padres suck for thinking they're just going to come in and snatch up Jarren Duran. I'm not a fan of this.
Yeah, fill me in on this. What's this about?
There was reported that the Padres were interested in Jarren Duran, and this actually dates back to, I think, what year is it? 2025? Yeah, this dates back to last year. Like they were apparently checking in on him last year as well. So they've liked him for some time. I've liked him for some time. Big Jarren Duran guy these last couple of years. I'm probably on record as having said at one point, like I would be okay parting ways with Jarren Duran, but this was
I feel
before.
like that's crazy to say out loud.
No, well, my reasoning was that I just didn't. I knew he was like, I know he's good, but I'm looking at what he did last year, and I'm just like, we can't.
Was that the peak?
Yeah, like we can't fall victim to thinking that this is gonna be the normal moving forward. Like this is the normal moving forward. We just can't.
Yeah.
However,
okay, sorry, keep going.
no, I was just gonna say. However, like he's had obviously, as you would expect, numbers are down from last year. Even I think defensively as well, since having moved over to left. But like comparatively, like he's putting up probably a better year than I would have anticipated being the bounce back otherwise, if that makes sense.
What I was gonna say is, isn't he also one of those sneaky guys that like kind of late bloomer, a little older than you would guess?
Well, yeah, I was thinking you were talking like in terms of the season itself, but like because like offensively, people are pointing to like his lack of power. But if you look at what he did last year, he didn't start popping off with power until the second half of the year anyway. Yeah. In fact, I'm pretty sure he was at this point in time last year, he was pretty close in terms of homers, maybe off by like a couple, 2 or 3. But yeah, he like last year he was like in MVP conversations and was comparable at this point of the year last year. So anyway, yeah, Padres. Yeah, at a much like larger level, at a macro level, to your point, yeah, late bloomer, but I'm here for it, and Padres can just go ahead and keep on moving it down the line, looking elsewhere.
She's got 3 more years of control. Why trade him? That's
yeah. Speaking of
he's free.
Speaking of control, I think Paul Skenes is really wishing that the whole years of control thing was like a myth or just didn't exist, because he's probably hating life right now, and I'll tell you why. This is his second start in the last 4 starts where he has gone 8 innings, gave up a single run, not plural, singular run, and lost the game. And look, I know people are going, win-loss records don't matter for pitchers. If I'm Paul Skenes and I'm going out there and giving you...
It matters to them. That's
8
what people
innings,
gotta remember.
Right. 8 innings of 1-run ball on multiple occasions, and I'm getting handed the loss. Yeah, it's gonna even if it didn't matter to me before, like even in college, it's gonna matter to me now. Because that's pitiful.
I'd like to know if there was like some type of interaction between him and DeGrom, and there was just like a Space Jam thing of like just spreading it. It's contagious.
Yeah, Paul Skenes, we're just talking like pitch grips or whatever,
like,
and
hey,
he's like, show me your grip. He had Skenes had the ball in his hand, and then Jacob DeGrom grabs it, and then all of a sudden they both light up, and then you see this transfer of power, or
that's right.
I guess lack thereof, because, well, no, it's not even a lack of power. Skenes is doing what Skenes is doing. It's the bums around him that can't figure out a way to win. And by the way, I think I saw tonight that they put up a shutout. So I'm like, okay, go figure. Yeah. The next night we can hold them they held the Astros scoreless. Whatever. Scrubs. Guy can't wait to talk extension.
I think it's time to get rid of the Pirates button, the Jolly Roger button. That music. I think we have to replace it with something else. Don't play it.
I mean, just as a way to like honor.
It's like the last time. Not the whole thing, right? R.I.P.
Yeah, they don't even get the beat drop, or they don't even get the crescendo. They're not worthy of that.
R.I.P.
They didn't even get a quarter.
Curious to see what you replace it with.
Yeah, I'll have to think on that. That's interesting. I really like that button. I'll be honest with you.
I know.
Truthfully, it's turned into the Paul Skenes button. Like it lost the Pirates button privileges.
It's got to be retired
months ago. What a shame.
We could do this for every quality start that he loses. Play the song.
Yeah. Oh, another eight inning effort by Paul Skenes. Another loss.
The button's gonna get overused. Yeah.
According to what did we settle on? Is it codify baseball?
I wanna go with codify, because codify sounds, it makes me uncomfortable.
I think that is the correct pronunciation, but I'm not great with pronunciation.
I'd like to think a guy named Cody started it, and that's what he's going for.
Chances are very slim, but we'll go with it. According to Codify Baseball on Twitter, Paul Skenes has allowed only 19 earned runs in 13 starts this year, but the Pirates have lost 8 of those games.
Keep it up, black and yellow. Keep it up.
I'm not going to name names, but there's people in our circle that believe that he is open to an extension. That could not be a bigger lie. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't know what kind of drugs, illicit drugs, they're floating around up there in Pittsburgh, but get off them, because Paul Skenes is going elsewhere.
Has to step in. That's our last hope. MLB has to step in, force the sale.
Insane. Last thing on that, your guy, Justin Havens, Nugget Chef on Twitter, Paul Skenes is the first pitcher since Pedro Martinez in 2000 to lose twice in a season in starts of 8+ innings, 1 or 0 earned runs, or just runs general, 1 or 0 walks in 8 Ks.
You hate to see it.
That sounds like a team I want to sign up a long-term commitment for. Anyway, that's all I got. Let's have a weekend, folks. Well, it's Wednesday. Crap.
Yeah, ease up on that. I got a fun one. Did you see the Cole Young kid with Seattle? The debut?
Yes, I did.
The call-up video.
The call-up video was great.
Incredible. And then the debut gets his first knock and then gets his first RBI. And we don't need to talk about what it was. It's just a little rollover dinker to the first baseman. But still a walk-off to celebrate.
Yeah.
It's your debut. You're celebrating. You're getting your jersey ripped off. You get the cooler dump at the end of the game. You get the interview. Well,
I did that TikTok about it. One of the better call-up videos.
Incredible.
I mean, most call-up videos are great, but that was one of the better ones I've seen, dude.
Yeah.
When you get emotional, when the parents are on the call.
Yeah.
Getting emotional. Yeah.
All in all, just a very, very awesome debut. Very cool.
Can we... is it just me? Or I swear it's 8 out of every 10 prospects that get called up, their first game, one of their first ABs, or sometimes it ends up being their first hit, they're legging out like an infield dribbler. What is that? Why is that?
Yeah.
Am I just convincing myself that happens more than it does? Because I feel like with a lot of these guys that get called up, they're legging out little dribble. Now that I've said that, remember that and watch.
I mean, you're probably right.
Watch these prospects.
Can't even feel their legs, dude. It's just I'm gonna, please, dear Lord, make contact with something today. That has just got to be the only mentality.
And you're barely getting.
And then you
have
it. Grown men like Jac Caglianone. That's no, I'm gonna hit a ball 115.
I'm gonna basically have the hardest hit ball this team's had all year, and this was my first at bat. Anyway, that's all I got. Yeah, let's have a good rest of the week, I guess. Sorry to
whatever that means. Yeah,
pull the trigger too early there, but let's have a good rest of the week. Trying to think, anything we've got to plug. Let's keep an eye on dates for a next keeping book.
Yeah, I have to pick something.
Learning how to keep score with Nate.
Pick.
Sunday night baseball broadcast. We'll pick one. Keep an eye out if you're listening or watching. Keep an eye out. We'll figure out a next date for that. Sox Yankees. Oh, last thing I'll say. Sox Yankees this weekend. Don't ask me to engage in any sort of bets. Don't ask me to make any sort of predictions. I couldn't be. Well, I won't say I couldn't be more out on this team because I'm so back in on this team after our walk-off today. Ceddanne Rafaela with a 308. Did you see a 308-foot walk-off homer?
Nice.
Snuck it right inside the pole. No, but I'm at a larger scale. This team frustrates me.
Another weekend of nationally broadcast games.
Oh,
so annoying.
I'm so weary having to watch my team.
Do you
get talked
I
about.
hate national.
No, I'm with you. No, it's just funny because you're oh, my team is so good and everyone wants to talk about my team.
No, it's ESPN absolutely solidifying.
I get it.
At least 1 to 3 Sunday night baseball Yankee Red Sox matchups.
I think Nesson only gets the Friday game because I guess Fox is Saturday, ESPN Sunday.
I see MLB Network on Friday, but I don't think they dominate.
No,
the way the other
not with the rights. Yeah,
where the others do.
But yeah, don't ask me to make any sort of bets. I have no interest in doing that right now. But
super interesting that they go 3 and then come back 2 series later to face each other in Fenway.
Well, it makes sense because I get this is the first matchup of the season.
Yeah.
So it was, again, it's June. We've mentioned it already. It's June.
Yeah.
And they're just now meeting. So we're probably going to see some matchups stacked over the next couple months.
I'm not overly confident in my team at the moment either. So,
oh, yeah. It's got to be so hard being in first place right now. Anyway, check out the shop. Subscribe to our YouTube. You know the drill. Subscribe
probably the
on
best seeds in the land.
Shout out Chinook. Use our code 30take THREEOHTAKE. You can save on some seeds at Chinook's website, on Chinook's website. So go ahead and check that out. That's all I got.
Don't go chasing curveballs.
We love you all as always. Looking forward to talking more baseball with you guys soon. Until next time, stay filthy.